Всем привет! Спасибо, что вы решили посмотреть это видео.
Hello everybody, thank you for watching this video. Unexpectedly, I came to Germany on a business trip. You can see that I'm not home, I am in a hotel right now. I came to a small German town called Aachen. The work is important, of course, but we have to check the town. So we'll be going for a walk. I've heard about German Christmas markets, we're definitely going there. I've also heard about thermal spring with water that is good for your health. Need to check that also. Okay, let's go for a walk. A little bit of history in the beginning. In ancient times, these lands were part of the Frankish state. Merovingians ruled there from the end of the 5th to the middle of the 8th century. This dynasty wore long hair, even the men, and this was considered their strength and a sign of power. They were replaced by the Carolingians, and their ruler became a figure with a very ambiguous name of Pipin the Short, about whom there were many legends, and he was famous for his incredible strength. He was succeeded by his son Charlemagne, who was called the father of Europe because he was able to unite most of Western and Central Europe for the first time since the fall of the Roman Empire. Charlemagne reached his greatest power in 800, when he was crowned Emperor of the Romans by Pope Leo III himself in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Not in this building, of course, but in the one that was there at that time. Charlemagne built his palace in Aachen in late 790s and in 807 made this city the capital of the Frankish state. Charles died in 814 and was buried in Aachen. He is revered as the patron saint of the city. Aachen had the status of a free city of the Holy Roman Empire, and until 1346 it remained the capital of that empire. Emperors were crowned there, and imperial assemblies took place in Aachen. In 1520, the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V was crowned for the last time in Aachen. Not bad for a city with a population of 260,000 people. The history of this city is simply breathtaking. The geography is also awesome. The city is located in a place where three countries meet: Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The border with Belgium and Netherlands is about 4 or 5 kilometers away. It's time to go outside. If you look for the information about Aachen, you'll see many pictures of this famous building. This is Aachen Cathedral. Its construction began around the year 800 by Charlemagne. He invited specialists from Byzantium and Rome. In 814, Charlemagne was buried there, and his remains are still in the cathedral. The center of the entire composition of the cathedral is the 8-col dome. This is the only part of the cathedral that has survived from the time of Charlemagne. Aachen Cathedral was one of the first to be included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. We're going inside. The central door does not open. You need to use the small doors on the left or right. Immediately upon entering the cathedral, we see a statue of a wolf. There is a legend associated with the construction of the cathedral, which says that the money from construction had been taken from the devil himself, on the condition that he would receive the soul of the first to enter the completed building. According to this legend, the townspeople outwitted the devil by letting a wolf into cathedral first. The greedy devil immediately grabbed the victim and only then noticed that it is a wolf. Beaten and scratched, he ran away. Donations were placed in the hole in the statue, and the paw was removed to collect them. Let's rub this paw so that the money will flow. Directly opposite the she-wolf, there is this interesting bronze cone. I didn't find much information about it, but it is believed that it's made in the likeness of the pine cone fountain in the courtyard in front of the museum in Vatican. Remember, Charlemagne invited architects from Rome. The dome of the cathedral is decorated with mosaic, a majestic building. You can also see a candelabra here. This is a gift to the cathedral from Frederick Barbarossa, Holy Roman Emperor since 1155. He had a luxurious red beard. In Italian, barba is beard and rossa is red. I'm glad it's not blue. Under the candelabra is a stone with the inscription Carolo Magno, which means Charlemagne in Latin. After his death, Charlemagne, in ceremonial robes with a crown on his head and a scepter in his hand, was seated on a throne and thus was buried. The throne on which Charlemagne was sitting is in the cathedral and can be seen. However, great people do not live in peace even after death. In year 1000, under Emperor Otto III, the grave was opened. The remains of Charlemagne were found in excellent preservation. Emperor Otto III took Charlemagne's tooth as a souvenir and left everything else untouched. Under Frederick Barbarossa, the tomb was reopened again and the remains of Charlemagne were transferred to the sarcophagus. The sarcophagus with the relics of Charlemagne is located right here in the cathedral. It is about 2 meters long, decorated with gold and silver. The cathedral contains unique relics as the undergarment of the Virgin Mary, the shroud of the infant Christ, the belt that Christ wore on the last day, and the veil on which John the Baptist was beheaded. It is believed that Charlemagne brought them to Aachen. All these relics are exhibited for pilgrims once every 7 years. Now, I would like to apologize for the fact that everything was filmed in the dark. The fact is that sunrise at that time in Germany was at 8 a.m. and sunset at 4:30 p.m. During the day I was busy and when I was free it was already dark. This is the Aachen City Hall. It is located opposite the cathedral across the square. At the beginning of the 14th century, Aachen was in need of a new building to hold coronations and imperial assemblies. In 1330, construction began on a new town hall. The project was completed in a record time for that time period, 19 years later. They built on the foundation of Charlemagne's palace and even preserved one tower, the Granus Tower. The history of this building is very interesting and full of many dramatic events. The town hall was damaged by 2 fires and Allied air raids in 1943. It has undergone numerous restorations. The northern facade of the town hall is decorated with 50 neo-Gothic statues of kings. Right above the entrance, you see a sculpture composition. In the center is Jesus Christ. On one side is Charlemagne and on another is Pope Leo III. The city administration works in town hall nowadays, but part of it can be viewed by public. On the other side of the Aachen Cathedral below is the Elesenbrunnen or Elisa Fountain. Right here is the thermal spring with drinking water. Elesenbrunnen consists of an open foyer with a porch and columns. This pavilion was named in honor of the Prussian Crown Princess Elizabeth, daughter of the Bavarian King Maximilian I. Let's go there and see what kind of healing water this is. The water is warm, 52 degrees Celsius, but the smell is not very pleasant. It smells like rotten eggs here. There is a lot of hydrogen sulfate in this water. Drinking or taking bath in this water has some healing benefits, supposedly. This is how the pavilion looks like from behind. Right there is a restaurant where you can have a dinner. It is called Elesenbrunnen. An interesting fact, one can bring dogs into the restaurant in Aachen. Speaking of food, beer goes without saying. Now, can you guess what it is? It is served as an appetizer in Germany. This is melted lard with fried onions. It's time to talk about something fun. I was lucky. I was in Aachen at the end of November, almost before Christmas, and it was simply impossible to miss the Christmas market. It is an important part of the German culture. The market was located on a square between the town hall and the cathedral. It was so beautiful there. A carousel for children, sausages, sweets, the names of which I don't even know, even nesting dolls. And of course, it is impossible to leave the market without drinking malt wine. You pay for the cup and a drink, but you can return the cup and get your money back. Well, now it's time to talk about Aachen gingerbread, in German Printen. Another legend. To replenish the treasury, the citizens of Aachen decided to sell gingerbread, but the recipe was lost. They decided to ask the late Charlemagne. They sent Devil to talk to Charlemagne along with the kitchen girl. Emperor gave the recipe, but then the Devil began to demand the keys to the city from him. The girl ran home with the recipe in her hands, baked a tray of gingerbreads, and brought them straight from the oven to the Devil. He began to shove gingerbread into his mouth, got burned, and ran away. This is how this kitchen girl saved the city. Another interesting detail of the center of Aachen: small fountain sculptures. Each of them has its own story. Circulation of money. You see several figures located around the fountain. They depict the vices born of money, greed and bribery. Look at the water. It really looks like a circulation of money. How do you like this little guy? This is Boy with Fishes. Personally, it reminds me very much of the mannequin piece in Brussels. It stands on Spitzgrassen Street, where there used to be a fish market. In memory of this, a sculpture was erected. Puppet Fountain. It was donated by the Aachen Bank and created in 1975. All figures can be moved and they change poses. Above the figures there is a rooster designed to remind of the French occupation by Napoleon. This is another historical building in Aachen, dating back to 14th century. It is located in 10-15 minutes from the central square. You see the miraculously preserved and heavily restored city gates. What surprised me the most was that this building is still in use. This is an entrance to the underground passage to another side of the street, and this building is also used by the Aachen Scouts. It was very interesting to walk around and enter these gates, imagining myself as medieval lady. Well, to get a complete picture about this town, I want you to know that Aachen has its own theater and many colleges. It is called the City of Students. RWTH Aachen University is the largest technical university in Germany, with more than 47,000 students studying in 144 programs. This educational institution was founded in 1870, more than 150 years ago. At the end, I want to say that I really liked this town, but I must add a fly in the ointment. I would like to warn you that 80% of the transportation that we used did not arrive on time. One train arrived on time, but on a wrong platform. This was announced 5 minutes before the departure and, naturally, in German. I'm still surprised how we managed to get there on time with our bags. Not a single plane left on time, and on the way back our flight to Boston was cancelled. I had to spend the night in Munich. Well, it was snowing then. Goodbye, Aachen. I really liked you. Well, maybe we'll meet again. Thank you for watching, and now please like and subscribe. Don't forget to put like.